Hello friends and welcome to another episode of Start Select. She is Jane Douglas.
And he's Guy Cocker. Come join us now as we launch headfirst into a great bubbling vat of liquid gaming goodness. This week we're going to be following GameSpot UK intern Alistair Stevenson as he guides us through the PS3's remastered HD version of the Prince of Persia Trilogy.
I'll be wearing my sneakers for sneaking in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
And we'll be looking back at our BAFTA-hosted Enslaved Q&A session, including exclusive footage of the making of the game.
But wait, there's more. Come back. We'll also be running down some of the week's big news, the hottest new releases, and giving away copies of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, as well as a big bundle of Blu-rays.
You may know that we have a news channel on GameSpot and that news channel is full to the brim with the biggest stories from the world of games. But we know that you're busy people, so we've pulled up the two top stories recently on the site. Guy, first up, you've got the latest on Gran Turismo 5.
Yep, so Sony and Polyphony's Racer is actually finally, we're not kidding around this time, it's definitely not going to get postponed again, release date. The game is being released on PlayStation 3's worldwide on November the 24th. That's next Wednesday, people. You can get your grubby paws on it then. The game will be available in 3 flavours in the UK and US. The Standard Edition, which contains just the 5 years in development game, and the Collector's Edition, which has got an RRP of £60, which gets you a bunch of extras, including a special packaging, Collector's Edition inlay sleeve, art, 200-page driver's strategy guide, 5 collector's edition art card postcards, 5 collector's edition chrome line car packs, and an exclusive Polyphony designed dynamic theme. That's what I'm getting it for. Right. I'll believe it when I have it in my hands, I think this, but the one to get, it sounds like you've pulled this up. I didn't even know this existed, but a signature edition.
Well, why stop at a mere £60 collector's edition when you can have the signature edition for £150, which will get you a metal sculpted box, GT leather wallet, competition entry to win a Mercedes SLS AMG, and an exclusive GT branded model of same, branded USB key, GT branded metal key fob, and Gran Turismo 5 signature edition coffee table book. So yeah.
I love it that you get a competition entry. It's like when you go to the airport and you have to pay to enter a competition to win a car.
But it's free.
But it's free, well
with the £150 signature edition. Yeah. Exactly. And speaking of large sums of money, last week was the biggest ever for game sales in the UK, thanks mostly to the little game that could, also known as Call of Duty Black Ops. Black Ops sales generated an estimated 81.9 million in the 5 days after launch, grossing more than the entire UK entertainment software market in the preceding 2 weeks. That made Black Ops' launch week the biggest grossing ever for game sales in this country, to the tune of £113.8 million. A record-breaking 2 million copies of Black Ops were sold, and that's 13% more than the previous record holder, Modern Warfare 2. Microsoft's camera-based Kinect system arrived in the shadow of COD Blops, but did claim the only other new entry in the top 10, with flagship title Kinect Sports debuting at number 4. So not too bad.
So yeah, Kinect Sports doing well. Dance Central was outside the top 10, which was slightly disappointing, having played that game and loving it at the moment. But I guess the big news this week is Black Ops, which people doubted whether it would do as well as Modern Warfare 2, was blown out of the water. You know, Treyarch's the big dog now.
Well, blown it out of the water to 13%. But yeah, I think we'll see over the long term. I think some analysts before launch were saying that in lifetime sales, Modern Warfare 2 will actually do better. But maybe it was like the perfect window for Black Ops to launch. So
again,
not too shabby.
Doing all right.
Yes.
Activision got some more monies.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you can check out all those news stories and more. Just head over to gamespot.com/news. Long before the Prince of Persia was chesty Jake Gyllenhaal, or voiced by the voice actor that's in everything, Nolan North, he was the star of the Sands of Time trilogy. Now, you lot might be too young to remember that, but the trilogy has been remastered and arrives on the PlayStation Network and PlayStation 3 today. Alistair Stevenson puts the now HD Prince through his paces.
Most people think time is like a river that flows swift and sure in one direction. But I have seen the face of time, and I can tell you, they are wrong.
Hi, I'm Alistair Stevenson for GameSpot UK, and today I'm going to be running you through the Prince of Persia Trilogy, the HD re-release of the now legendary Sands of Time games. The package is out exclusively on PlayStation 3 today, so here's what to expect from this 3D-ready update. For those who missed it, or are too young to remember, it all began in 2003 when Sands of Time wowed us with its combination of visually stunning acrobatics and imaginative level design. The sequels Warrior Within and Two Thrones followed in 2004 and 5, creating the milestone trilogy so fondly remembered today. This latest release sees all 3 of the original titles contained on one Blu-ray disc, with updated HD graphics and an all-new 3D mode for those lucky enough or rich enough to own a 3D television.
Why is it that every time disaster strikes, I find myself without a proper blade?
Hardcore fans of the trilogy will be pleased to hear that this update offers a faithful port of the original games. The Prince's glib remarks still managed to entertain, and the platform is still as challenging and rewarding as ever. The game's HD upgrade has also worked well. While it's still obvious for playing an older game, the quality of the HD graphics lets you appreciate the fluidity of animation and quality of textures, details which you probably missed when playing the game at standard definition on an older console. One of the trilogy's biggest draws will be the new 3D mode, which, other than in Sands of Time that at points could suffer from a diminished frame rate, is a welcome addition that will allow you to see the game in an entirely different light. Unfortunately, the 3D mode is only available when the game is being run on a 3D television, so you'll have to get your wallet ready for a hefty payout if you haven't already.
You will never reach our shores alive.
For your sake, you better hope I don't.
Unlike the graphics, Ubisoft has chosen to leave the gameplay untouched. This means that as well as having the original game's strengths, the release also contains their weaknesses, including the repetitive combat of Sands of Time and the tiresome bad attitude of Warrior Within. Despite this, the positive aspects of each game still far outweigh the bad, and the games are still a delight to play. Another welcome change to the series is the addition of gaming trophies. These trophies offer both veteran and new players added incentives to replay the games and adapt their playing style according to the specific challenges. A good example is the nigh-on impossible Game Master trophy, which requires you to complete Sands of Time using only 20 sand rewinds. Hefty feat for any gamer. The HD re-release is a welcome upgrade to a much-loved trilogy. With the addition of high-definition visuals and the chance to win trophies, the classic HD Prince of Persia package offers a real incentive for gamers to revisit or discover the trilogy for the first time. It's released exclusively on PlayStation 3 on November 19th in the UK, and will be available for download in other territories.
If you played through Assassin's Creed 2 and thought needs more assassins and also needs more Rome, then boy does Ubisoft have the game for you. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood adds multiplayer to the series for the first time, and it looks like this.
Ciao Bella, I'm Signor Guy Cocker de London, and this is my guide to the multiplayer in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I'm here to give you an intro to Ubisoft's new multiplayer modes, plus offer some tips to give you an edge over the noobs. Brotherhood is the first time in the Assassin's Creed series where you can take the fight online and assassinate your friends. While you may not have thought Assassin's Creed ever needed a multiplayer mode, we're pleased to report that it not only provides a new and unique online experience, it's also one that you'll want to keep coming back to. The basics of the game are simple: assassinate and avoid being assassinated. You choose from one of a cast of familiar characters, such as the Harlequin, Doctor or Courtesan, and are dropped into a city full of similar-looking non-playable characters. The gameplay is essentially the same as in the single-player game. You use your agility to move around the world undetected, and your stealth skills to blend into the environment to stop getting caught. There are 4 different game types: Wanted, Manhunt, Alliance, and Team Wanted. Wanted is your basic deathmatch. You're given a target and you have to hunt them down. You're also the target for other players though, and the more kills you successfully perform, the greater number of players will be after you. Manhunt is a team-based mode where you take it in turns being the assassins and the targets, while Alliance splits people into teams of 2. So, just how do you survive assassination in Brotherhood? Well, the most obvious tip is to remember that this is Assassin's Creed, not Call of Duty, so a stealthy approach is key. While you get 100 points for chasing someone down in the open and killing them, you can quadruple that score just by performing the kill before they even knew you were there. Our second tip is to learn the environments, as they contain chase breakers that you can use to make a hasty getaway if necessary. Chase breakers include shiny doors and gates. Run through these and they'll automatically close behind you, stalling your adversary in the process. The same goes for the new lifts, which propel you up to the top of buildings, and as they take a few seconds to reset, they give you a much needed head start on your would-be assassin. Our third tip is to use the perks system effectively. Like any modern action game, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood rewards you with new toys to play with the more kills you perform. If you're playing Manhunt, for example, make sure you equip something defensive like Disguise when you're playing as a civilian, or something more offensive like the Hidden Gun if you're playing as the assassin. Number 4, remember to use your targeting ability. If you're approaching someone who looks like your target, just hit the target button. This will focus the camera on them so you can watch their actions and judge whether they're a human or AI, and if they do bail, you'll be able to track them more easily if they're targeted. In team-based modes, it also helps that targets are marked out for teammates so they can perform the assassination if they're closer. Our final tip is to make sure you blend into small groups of AI-controlled civilians where possible, as this allows you to get close to your target without giving yourself away, or throw a hunter off the scent. If you can find a walking group containing the same character model as you, even better. If you're lucky, your enemy will go for one of the unsuspecting AI lookalikes instead of you. That's it from me inside the Animus. Good luck, assassins. We'll see you in Rome. Enslaved: Odyssey to the West won acclaim for its compelling story and lifelike animation, thanks in part to its innovative performance capture. We got a look at the techniques and technology behind the game at a BAFTA Q&A session with designer Tamim Antoniades. Tonight's speaker is one of the founders of Cambridge-based BAFTA-nominated Ninja Theory. Originally founded as Just Add Monsters in March 2000, the studio's first release was Kung Fu Chaos on the Xbox. But it was with 2007's Heavenly Sword that the developer started enlisting the help of leading lights across the movie and music industries, including Andy Serkis, Nitin Sawhney and Weta Digital. So, to talk about this collaborative process, please welcome to the stage the creative director of Ninja Theory, Tamim Antoniades.
One of the books that I read when I was researching for Heavenly Sword was Journey to the West, 400-year-old novel. But the legend of Monkey, the Monkey King, is actually much, much older. It's, the book's considered one of the 4 great Chinese classics. It's almost a quasi-religious text. And so when we adapted it, we wanted to, we felt like we could just adapt it in a different way. It didn't have to be a literal translation. We'd already done a big Eastern epic game with Heavenly Sword, and we wanted to do something different. So it was as simple as asking my art director, Alex, what would you like to work on next in terms of style? And he said sci-fi. So we went, fine. Let's replace the magic with technology, replace the demons with robots, and see what we come up with. It had to be highly cinematic with believable characters, because you've got to believe that this girl you're protecting is real. And the action, we wanted to be, man versus machine, with lots of robots of all kinds of shapes and sizes, and to have quite a big. The kind of like the heart of the game is the interaction between Monkey and Trip, not just in terms of drama, but in terms of gameplay as well. We had a really hard time trying to source a motion capture studio anywhere that could do the level of performance that we needed. Oh yeah, we hired this a PhD guru, and we worked with him on actually doing this mathematical formula for translating dots on an actor's face into a CG character. And Andy, of course, is like, he's the king of performance capture. He worked with us on Heavenly Sword. On Enslaved, he co-directed the shoot with me. We did a 4-week shootout in Los Angeles at House of Moves, and it was like shooting a movie. So, I mean, performance capture is just amazing when it works. It's capturing voice, body, face of multiple actors on set, acting naturally against each other, and it's, Andy's often said it's the purest form of acting, because there's no sets, no costumes, no prosthetics. And you've got 140 cameras around you, so there's nowhere to hide. Like, you've just got to get out there and perform, and it's like black box theater.
Trip! No! Oh, come on. Trip, can you hear me? Trip! Monkey! She stopped breathing!
So very early on, right at the beginning, we got Nitin Sawhney on board. Like, he's done so many films. He's a polymath. He's been trained in classical Indian music. He was quite big on the drum and bass scene. He was a flamenco guitar expert, an Indian tabla player, So, like, it was important for us to kind of avoid the usual cliches that lots of games that are trying to be blockbusters fall into, which is to go for the big John Williams soundtrack. Each of the musical themes is based around the characters and their journey throughout the game. And Nitin's I mean, that's what he brings from basically the movie side of things. You know, he brings that kind of sensibility and experience with him.
You spoke a little bit about getting these various talents on board.
Yeah.
How do you convince them? I read that Alex was looking for a project for a while, but surely they're used to astronomical fees in Hollywood.
Everyone that we work with has an interest in working in a different medium in games. They don't necessarily do it to make millions of bucks, because despite what everyone thinks, you don't actually make millions of bucks making games unless you're extraordinarily lucky. So for a lot of them, it's more about the people you work with and the freedom you give them creatively and the respect and the boundaries that you have.
Ed Stern, I'm lead writer at Splash Damage. What didn't work? Was there any like one interaction verb that you had difficulty with, or was there any particular? Was it a particular kind of scene or a particular kind of interaction? Some stuff just falls straight into the engine and it works fine. What was the stuff that just didn't work straight off?
We caught a lot of the stuff early on, because when we had the edited scenes, and we spent maybe 5 weeks editing the videos, like not the actual in-game stuff, just the videos that we filmed live. We stuck those in the game. So when the characters got to a point, it just played the video. And just from that, we could tell whether certain scenes weren't going to work. And in general, the scenes that don't work are the ones where you have multiple purposes. You know, Alex was very, very clear, one scene, one purpose. And any time that there was like a couple of things going on in the scene, and they shifted from one conversation to the other, it just didn't work. And sometimes that meant actually going back to the design and removing the source of that double-ended type thing that's going on. But simplicity seemed to work, like just getting it down to its bare bones. The simpler it is, the less trouble, the less you're going to tie yourself into knots.
Hi, I'm Sven. I'm a features writer for Spong. I just wanted to get your thoughts on what you feel is the role of story in games on a grand scale, because a lot of Ninja Theory games tend to be a lot of heavily focused on the storyline and the cinematics of the games. And you mentioned in your presentation that Alex likes to kind of break down scenes into like bare essence and stuff like that. Do you think that's a perfect structure for a game, or do you think it works in film as well? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, what Alex brought was his film experience into our game. And my thoughts on story is, if it's a story-driven game, then you should follow the rules of storytelling, whether they're visual, oral, or on the written page. So I think Alex fitted quite well into that. If it's not a story-driven game, then you shouldn't force a story on there at all. You know. But if you're gonna, yeah, I mean, I believe passionately that the skills he brought from the film world work in games, despite our skepticism.
You can find out more about further games events via the BAFTA website, Facebook page, or Twitter. But for now, please join me in thanking Tamim once again. It's yet another big week of game releases this week. Here are the hottest new titles aiming to part you with your hard-earned cash, or possibly ill-gotten, we don't know, cash monies. First up, it's Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, wherein Ezio Auditore di Firenze returns, this time with some new Assassin's bros in an epic struggle against the powerful and shadowy Templar Order.
Need for Speed Hot Pursuit comes out on the PS3, Xbox 360, PC and Wii. EA wants to jumpstart its stalled racing franchise with Hot Pursuit, a cops and robbers style racer that rolls off the line of the studio behind Burnout and shifts Need for Speed back into top gear. All right, I will stop now.
Need for Burnout, or Burnout for Speed?
Need for Burnout
Need
Speed.
for Burnout Speed. Hot Pursuit.
Hot Burnout.
Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows is next, the part 1 of the series. Harry Potter takes a dark turn in this third-person shooter. The boy who lived battles Death Eaters and Dementors while fleeing for his life across the wilds of England, and the 360 version is Connect ready.
Blood drives out on the PS3 and Xbox 360 and takes us once more into the post-apocalyptic zombie-plagued Breach, but with a destruction derby spin. Cue a gladiatorial arena filled with armoured war machines set for racing, wrecking each other and destroying the living dead.
Apache Air Assault is up next. It's a modern combat flight simulation game in which players control a variety of lethal Apache attack helicopters outfitted with military-grade weaponry.
Also, Fling Smash is out on Wii, the athletic fun of tennis and the instant gratification of pinball together at last. It comes bundled with a Wii remote with Wii Motion Plus. We gave it a 4 out of 10, mind.
Don't buy it. Next up is EA Sports Active 2 on the PlayStation 3, Wii and Xbox 360, again Kinect enabled on 360.
And then there's Marvel Superheroes Squad, the Infinity Gauntlet.
Doctor Who returns to Earth on the Wii and Split Second comes to the PlayStation Portable.
And Create, EA's family-friendly sandbox puzzle game on 360, PS3 and Wii. Time for your feedback. You can send us your comments, questions and Sonic fanfiction via Twitter, where we're at GameSpot UK, on Facebook, where we're facebook.com/GameSpot UK, or on the site at gamespot.com/startselect.
And I particularly want your Sonic erotic fanfiction. You can send that to my personal address. First up, among the comments on Facebook about Gran Turismo 5 release date is Ben Monroe. He says, I'm afraid that after all this time, it's not going to be worth it, and it will be unable to win me over, having been so used to playing Forza to fill the gap. That's 3 Forza games in the gap, actually.
Stuart Stubbs Gunning says, I don't see how delays could dissuade someone from getting it. Most people from day one knew they were going to get this or not, no matter when it was coming out. While I waited through the delays, I sunk my teeth into some quality driving titles like Dirt 2, Motorstorm and Burnout, and now it's almost here, I'll have it day one.
It's like that Duke Nukem thing where you pre-ordered it 10 years ago or whatever, and now 5 years, it's probably going to be out of date. Rich Moulin says, I don't get how a game can be judged good or bad by its delay. It's probably going to be good and will be bought by me. So what it's delayed, it's probably better for it, and it's not as though there have been no other games to play. Has it cost anyone anything being delayed? Don't get the fuss, hopefully getting this for Crimbo.
All right, and David King says, first thing I'm going to do is buy a Kia Ceed and try and beat all the stars in a reasonably priced car times on the Top Gear track.
All right, you can also chime in on our Start Select page over on the site. It's gamespot.com/startselect. Adam Harries has done just that. He says, how about a game development segment like Greatest Gaming Rig, where the team try to make a simple video game in a month or so? It could be really interesting and give people a better idea of what making games is actually like. It doesn't have to be complex or anything. A simple 2D platformer may be made in Flixel or something would do nicely, but still it would be good. Jane, do you have the technical know-how?
I'll get the technical know-how. I'm in. Let's do that.
Let's do it.
All right. They're just setting us challenges now. I like this. Okay. And Lee11 says, I think the rig looks pretty good, cable management and all. And I do love flashy lights. Don't have much faith in the performance benefits, seeing how I'm slowly losing faith in the game development sector. Where's the innovation? It doesn't have to be brilliant, but it does have to be.
If you like flashy lights, we got some on that.
We've got your flashy lights.
We've got your flashy lights.
Last time on the show, we gave you the chance to win one of 5 copies of Rock Band 3 on PS3. All you had to do to win one was answer the very, very almost too simple question. How many buttons are there on the fretboard of the new Rock Band 3 Pro Guitar controller made by Mad Cat? And the answer was 102.
Who are the winners though, Jane?
The winners are... Ta-da. DJ Russell, Sally Brooke, Luke Gray, Jamie Cottage and Jacob Phillipson.
This time around, we've got more competitions than you can shake a very big stick at. We've got 3 copies of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood on the PlayStation 3 to give away, plus for one lucky winner, we've got a copy of Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Limited Codex Edition, which includes the game,
Renaissance Collector Chest,
exclusive codex,
a map of Rome,
multiplayer character cards,
Lineage DVD,
bonus DVD and game soundtrack,
2 exclusive single-player maps.
And they're called Aqua Gear and Trajan Market.
Okay.
2 multiplayer characters, Harlequin and Officer.
And additional bonus content that's yet to be revealed.
You teasers at Ubisoft.
All right, if you want to bag yourself a copy, just answer us this. Who is the voice actor who plays Desmond Miles in the game? If you think you know, jot it on a postcard, by which we mean email, and send it to competitions@gamespot.co.uk before December 3rd, along with your postal address, and we'll announce the winners in the next episode of the show.
And now, just because we can't help ourselves, we've also got a bonus competition prize to give away. It's a pack of Blu-rays to keep you distracted protracted as the long, cold, lonely nights draw inexorably in. It comprises Resident Evil Afterlife,
The Alien Anthology,
Iron Man 2,
Inception,
Lost Season 6,
and Robin Hood.
For your chance to win all of those Blu-rays, just tell us the name of the publisher/developer behind the Resident Evil series. Answers and addresses, as always, go to competitions@gamespot.co.uk and we'll draw the lucky winner on next time's show.
And finally, and this is getting silly, be sure to check out our colossal Blu-ray competition on the site right now, in which you can win a 60-inch TV, surround sound system, and a year's supply of Blu-ray movies and munchies. Simply head to the link on your screen right now to enter, and that's tinyurl.com/OMG Blu-ray.
OMG. All right, thanks for watching this episode of Start Select. Remember, we'll be bringing you another episode very soon, so subscribe in iTunes. In the meantime, remember to catch GameSpot UK's Twitter feed, where unbelievably you can win even more stuff. GameSpot UK providing more prizes than you'll ever need in the shape of game download codes every Friday. You can also stalk Jane and I on Twitter. Just head over to tweetusupgood at twitter.com/Guy Cocker and /Jane Douglas.
And if you want more behind-the-scenes access to GameSpot UK, and why wouldn't you, including the latest on our epic gaming PC build, head over to facebook.com/GameSpot UK. That's also the place to post your feedback and from where we'll pluck the best for including in the next show.
Ta-ra!